Brother man is putting his cash to work. Hi, I'm John McNeil, and this is the Invest Strong Network. Welcome. So in my video from last week, I had mentioned to Invest Strong viewers how my legacy mutual fund portfolio had spun out enormous capital gain and dividend distributions in cash form into my bank accounts in the month of December. Now, this presented me with a bit of a quandary. I didn't quite know what I could do or what I should do with all of this cash that was all of a sudden showered upon me, right? But I promised Invest Strong viewers that I would fully mobilize and utilize such cash. And in fact, I have done so. And I wanted to report to you exactly what I have decided. All right. So the primary bulk of this cash that I have put to use, I basically decided to do something that I had not done in really over a decade. And that is actually reinvest in a lot of the legacy mutual fund portfolios that I originally acquired way back in the 1990s. So as I have mentioned in previous vids going back as early as last year, when I first began my investment journey in the early 1990s, right? And so there was this mutual fund company, then known as 20th Century Mutual Funds, today known as American Century Mutual Funds. But anyway, I invested in their Ultra Fund, right? And also a bit later on in their International Growth Fund, all right? Now, a few years on from that, I invested in some Invesco mutual funds, the Diversified Dividend Fund. Also, they had a leisure hospitality mutual fund. I invested in that. And I also invested in their healthcare specific mutual fund. Now, the leisure fund, they actually liquidated that, I think about 15 years ago or so, but I still have the legacy Diversified Dividend Fund and the healthcare specific mutual fund. Now, from there, I also invested in the Strong Opportunity Fund, as it was known back in the 1990s. But strong funds were eventually merged or taken over by Wells Fargo, and now it's called the Wells Fargo Opportunity Fund, which is the contemporary name. And also, I invested in the Lou Holland Growth Fund. Lou Holland was a Black mutual fund investor and very wise man. In fact, he was part of the a video I made about investing in Black companies. I did that last year. I encourage you to go and review that. But he passed away, and his fund company eventually became the American Beacon Company, and so now they're the contemporary operators of it. Now, I also own shares in the Vanguard High Yield Growth Fund, which is in fact a junk bond, a junk bond mutual fund operated by Vanguard Group, right? So it's a high yielding, bond fund. Anyway, so with that said, most of the funds, back when I originally structured this portfolio, I had all of the dividends and capital gains reinvested, right? Now, a few years ago, around 2016, I had some things kind of come up in my personal life, and I needed more income. So the American Century funds and the Invesco funds, I actually changed it to where now the dividends and capital gains would be paid out in cash form, right? And now that for the previous 7 years or so, those payouts usually came to be a few $1,000s a year, right? Not a big deal, but a nice little bit of, nice little bit of cherry on top of the snow cone. However, this year, there were monstrous cash payouts, right? Much more so than I had ever seen previously. So I had all this cash, and I needed to know what to do with it. Well, so I did. This is what I decided: American Century Ultra Fund, $10,000 direct investment. Okay. The American Century International Growth Fund, $5,000 reinvestment. Okay. Invesco Diversified Dividend Fund, $10,000. And the Invesco Healthcare Specific Mutual Fund, $10,000 more, right? Grand total of $35,000 reinvested in the mutual fund portfolio. Actually, the largest reinvestment ever in my mutual fund portfolio, and actually the first new investment of Brother John money into the mutual fund portfolio in well over a decade, right? Okay, now I decided to augment the mutual fund investments with some additional direct stock purchases, right? So I've added to my stock portfolio shares of Brunswick Corp, which is a watercraft maker and seller, $1,000. Dolby Labs, Dolby being the audio equipment maker and distributor, $1,000. Ethan Allen Interiors, right? So we're talking furniture and things like that for residential, property, $1,000. Equinix, which is actually a data center REIT. So this particular REIT doesn't own rental property as we would think of rental property, but they in fact own and operate property that is used in the manufacture and distribution of information technology, right? Computer systems and telecommunications and things like that. That's Equinix. And $1,000 there. Also $1,000 in Oshkosh Corp, maker of farm equipment and heavy earth moving equipment, $1,000. Also, the Hanover Insurance Group. Well, insurance, we know about that. $1,000 there. Also, shake it up, spray it on a rusty joint, WD-40 Company, $1,000 there. And another really unique company that I hadn't heard of previously, did a little research and decided to take the dive, is Moelis. I'm going to say it's Moelis and Company, and it is an investment banking company, really kind of a boutique financial company, ticker symbol MC. And first time I've ever owned a share in one of these things. And so we'll just see how it goes for 2020. Now, the new stock purchases, there's an interesting side twist in this, in that virtually all of these new stock investments are in positions or industries that I previously had no exposure to, right? Now, and I did this really, obviously I'm chasing returns, so I want positive returns, of course, but also really I want to be able to learn and to actually have material that I can report to InvestStrong viewers in upcoming months and years to see how they go, right? And see how the investment in these new industries, see what they've done for the brother man. So I will not be selling these shares, certainly not this year. I'm going to just hold on for dear life, hodl, as they say, and then be able to report to InvestStrong viewers exactly what these companies have done. Now, Dolby Labs, really interesting. Audio equipment and systems, Wow, that nothing like that in my portfolio ever. Um, Investment banking, Moelis and Company, like I mentioned. WD-40. Now, I've owned shares in other chemical makers, but this specific kind of lubricant, something entirely new. And I, to this point, never owned a watercraft manufacturer and distributor. Well, I do now with Brunswick Corp. All right, so I'll let you know how how this all goes. So all told, over the last week and a half or so, the brother man has basically put the amount of $44,000 into use. And we're going to see how this investment preparation for 2022 is going to pay off in the future. I'll keep you updated on it all. All right. Thank you so much, friends. Hope you found this interesting. And if so, hit that thumbs up button. Do it for me, please. I beg of you to do it. Also, let me know your New Year's strategies. I love to know what you have planned for 2022 and how it's going to all pan out. And of course, subscribe to Invest Strong. I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much, friends, and Happy New Year and good blessings.